When it comes to asylum in the United States, some places are better than others. Geography matters. You see, asylum approval rates vary drastically depending on the location. Where you live determines where your case will be considered, and where your case gets considered, well, it has massive implications for your chances for success. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the worst and best places to be an asylum seeker in America. And this is important because you actually can, in most cases, control your destiny. Well, at least to some extent, by moving to one of these high approval states before your case is decided. Now stick with me to the end of this video because I'm gonna tell you about the very best place to have your asylum case adjudicated. And then I'll tell you about a place that's kind of tricky in terms of its asylum approval rates. You'll definitely need to hear that explanation. I'm Brian Manning, and I used to be an asylum officer with the government, but now, as an asylum lawyer, well, I help immigrants all over the country to secure their future in America through asylum. Let me know in the comments if you've got an asylum case pending, or maybe you're considering applying. And listen, I'd especially like to hear from you if you've been waiting for an asylum interview with USCIS for multiple years. All right, before jumping into the best and worst places to seek asylum, let me stress that in most circumstances, you can actually choose where you want to have your asylum claim heard. You see, it goes by where you live, and this is true both for so-called affirmative asylum cases with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, which is known by its acronym USCIS, and for defensive asylum cases in immigration court. So every USCIS asylum office and every immigration court covers a certain geographic area, and your case will be with the office that covers the area that you live in. But here's the thing, you can effectively choose where you want to have your case considered by moving into the jurisdiction of a favorable asylum office or court. If you haven't yet come to the United States, but you're planning to come and seek asylum, well, you can decide to settle in a favorable area. Or if you're already here, you can move into a more favorable jurisdiction. With USCIS, your case will automatically be transferred upon informing the agency of your new address in a new jurisdiction. But it's actually different with the immigration courts. A transfer is not automatic from one court to another upon your move into a new jurisdiction. Rather, in the court context, after you move, you'll need to ask the judge at your current court to transfer the case to the court that covers the area into which you have moved. Now, this is done through something called a motion to change venue, and it's normally approved without any problems. But note that if you seek this transfer right before your main hearing, your individual hearing, well, the judge might think that you're just trying to stall and they might deny your motion. So do this plenty ahead of time. So now you know that you can increase your chances for success by being in an area with higher asylum approval rates. So where are those places? Well, let's start by flagging some of the worst states to seek asylum, some of the places with the lowest approval rates. First up, it's my home state of Texas. It's rough here, folks. According to recent statistics, the Houston Asylum Office had an approval rate of a little under 26%. The immigration courts are a disaster here too. The Houston Immigration Court approved just 18.2% of asylum cases in fiscal year 2023, while things were slightly better in the Dallas Immigration Court at 25.4% of cases approved. Okay, let's take a look now at Florida, which has seen a huge influx of asylum seekers lately. The Miami Asylum Office had among the lowest approval rates among all USCIS asylum offices at just 20.7% approved. The Immigration Court in Miami approved just below 23% of asylum cases. Further north in the state, asylum seekers fared much better in immigration court. The approval rate was 42.4% in Orlando. This means asylum seekers were almost 2 times as likely to win in court there in Orlando as they were in Miami. So Texas and Florida, not looking good for asylum seekers, right? Well, let's check out another state in the southern part of the country that is not where you want to be as an asylum seeker. By the way, you're seeing the trend here, right? Yeah, the South is not very hospitable to immigrants. In the state of Georgia, the immigration court in Atlanta, which has attracted many immigrants lately, had an approval rate of just above 23%. Now, the grant rate for people in Georgia with a case with USCIS at the asylum office is a little better at 27.1%. Those cases with USCIS for people in Georgia actually fall under the jurisdiction of the Arlington Asylum Office, which is in the state of Virginia, and it's just outside of Washington, D.C. By the way, if you want to maximize your chances for asylum success, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you don't miss the insights that I share on this channel. Okay, enough doom and gloom. Let's look at 3 states with high asylum approval rates, or at least compared to the rest of the country, right? First up, Illinois. There are a lot of asylum seekers in and around the city of Chicago, where the USCIS Asylum Office has an approval rate of 32.4%. So not a whole lot higher than what we've been seeing so far, but still measurably better. But when we turn to the Chicago Immigration Court, well, we see a huge jump up in the approval rate, all the way up to 62%. In fact, for the current fiscal year, the approval rate is trending up to almost 69%. Now we're talking. Okay, now that we've got some momentum, let's talk about the very best state overall to seek asylum. Year in and year out, this state's 2 asylum offices and its various immigration courts all have among the highest approval rates in the country. Honestly, if I were seeking asylum and had the luxury of choosing what state to live in, well, I would head for the Golden State. That's the nickname for California. California's 2 asylum offices in Los Angeles and San Francisco usually rank in the top 3 among all asylum offices for approval rates. And in fiscal year 2023, Los Angeles was ahead of most of the pack at 36%, while San Francisco leads the way at 52.4% approved. The main immigration court in Los Angeles had a 55.2% approval rate, while up in San Francisco, the court approval rate was a whopping 79.8%. That's right, folks. San Francisco is where you want to be as an asylum seeker. Okay, finally, we need to talk about New York. It's tricky. You see, the immigration court in New York has a very high approval rate at 83.2%. Beating out even San Francisco. So you might assume that the asylum office in New York City would have a high approval rate too, right? Well, you would be wrong. It actually had the lowest approval rate of all asylum offices nationwide. A meager 10.6% of asylum cases got approved there. This disconnect between approval rates at the asylum office and the immigration court in New York, it's truly incredible. It means you're unlikely to win your case at USCIS, but once it gets sent over to the immigration court and you're in deportation proceedings, well, you've got a really good chance for success over there. So the immigration judges are effectively overturning almost every negative decision from USCIS. If you're ready to take the next step and get help with your asylum case, then please call my office today. That number is 713-909-0401. And remember, we help people all over the country, so it doesn't matter where you live. Call us now to schedule an asylum strategy session so that we can help you to secure your future in America through asylum. Again, I'm Brian Manning, and it's an honor to serve you in your asylum journey.